It's Europa League preview. We have all the action, all the betting tips, all the analysis. Jimmy Conrad and James Benge as he heads to the Emirates to preview a little bit of Arsenal. And we have a special one-on-one with Moussa Sissoko. Don't forget to listen and rate us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Stitcher, because the show begins right now. Hey everybody, Europa League preview. Once again, I welcome my brother, Jimmy Conrad, with all the betting tips. We have so much to talk about. Jimmy, how are you, brother?
¿Qué tal, Amarno? How's it going?
Muy bien, muy bien. I love it. I love it. How are you? You look good. You look fresh. Listen, so many games, Europa League action. Let's talk about it. Give me your betting tips starting from each one, and I'll just throw in a sentence or two. But let's go, baby. Let's see what you got for me.
So I love the Europa League for a lot of different reasons. One of the reasons I don't care for it is that there's like 18,000 teams. So it's really hard to go onto William Hill and find the best value because I don't really know a lot about Cluj, and how they're going to perform against Roma. I hope they do the business. Well, I hope they don't because I like Roma. But there's just all these little things that's tough, man, but it's good because I've learned a lot about these clubs that I wouldn't have learned about anyway. Anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. This is just me trying to be a global citizen of the world. That's what I consider myself. All right, let's get into my first bet is Tottenham to win and both teams to score plus 160. Now, last week, I'm sure you guys remember Spurs lost in Belgium to Royal Antwerp 1-0. And then there was that famous photo. And I love Jose Mourinho's Instagram of him sitting on the bus, looking forlorn and basically criticizing his players on Instagram, which is a new interesting coaching tactic by him to make that happen. I think these guys are going to be up for it. I just saw a report that says he's going to roll out all of his big guns. And I think that Ludogorets is in some big trouble. I do like Ludogorets to score, though. They're playing at home. I think they're going to have a little bit of fight, a little bit of pluck to them. But plus 160, I think, is pretty good value. So I'm going with that. I don't know. What do you think about that one?
Yeah, no, we have Moussa Sissoko on the show, and he basically said, listen, we're confident and we're ready to go. So I'm with you all the way. I think Tottenham's going to come guns blazing because they don't want to lose again, especially to Ludogorets.
Can you tell him to text me so I can confirm whether this is a good bet or not? Who's the lineup, buddy? We'll talk about it the other time. No collusion. We don't want that. We want to play this all straight. All right, my next one is the Jimmy special. So usually when I do a Jimmy special, I pick one player, I pick that player to score, I pick his team to win, and then sometimes it's just both teams score, or sometimes I give the exact score or a couple scores. And this one is Miguel Echegaray from Real Sociedad. Obviously, Sociedad to win. And then they have to win either 1-0, 2-0, 2-1. And I think they're going to do it. I love the 23-year-old. He scored 3 goals in his last 3 games. He's going to come off the wing a little bit. He's Alexander Isak is the guy up top. And they need to win this game because after dropping points at home to Napoli, this is kind of a make or break game. And because their backs are against the wall, if they really want to progress in this, because they're on top of the La Liga table as well, then it's hard. I guess it's hard to say always the motivation because sometimes when you have extra competitions, the coach has to manage we're on top of La Liga, but also we want to do well in this, and you might not have the depth to do both, right? So there is that to consider, but I feel like against an opponent like this, they have to do the business, and I like that at plus 550. Excuse me, it was 2-0, 2-1, or 3-1, not 1-0, 2-0, 2. I should look at my notes, but I just like that there's going to be some goals. I think La Real's got some in them, and then you can maybe concede one and still hit this. So I like this one a lot. What do you think?
Yeah, I think the answer was right there. Listen, they're third in the Group F, and they just want to get this win. They want to be top of the table, and what better way to do it at home against the leader of that group. So I'm with you right there. I think they'll get some goals in this one. Yeah,
I meant to say that the team there was AZ Alkmaar, who I want to reference their 1-0 win in Italy on match day 1. They won 1-0, big deal. But they got outshot, they got outpossessed. They got thumped in a lot of different ways. Napoli just forgot their finishing boots in the attacking third. And I think La Real will have similar numbers. It's just a matter of whether they can finish, and I think they will. And I think Miguel Echegaray will be one of the guys to do it. All right, my last one for you guys. My first time ever, I'm doing a parlay. I'm calling it my parlay partay. So if you guys want to put on your party hats and hang out, I got AC Milan winning. They're taking on Lille. Okay, now Milan are undefeated. They're on top of Serie A. And they have a player named Zlatan Ibrahimovic, who former MLS player. Great to see him doing well in another league. Leading the front lines and leading the Golden Boot race in Italy. But Lille is also undefeated. The problem with Lille is a lot of them are draws. So I don't want to take anything away from them, but I just think Milan's going to do it. It's in Italy. And I think that's going to be enough. And of course, I think Zlatan's the X factor, and I think he'll show up and do what he does. The other one is Leicester to win. Okay, they are taking on Braga, but they're taking on Braga at home. If it was in Portugal, because you can't sleep on Portuguese competition, right? Anytime you're in Europe, I just think Leicester has the goods. I don't know if Jamie Vardy starts or not. Obviously, they got to prepare for the weekend as well. But Iheanacho has been very good. James Maddison is back in the team. I think they just have too much talent for Braga, and I think they're going to win. So it's just these are all just straight up. They just have to win. And then the last one, Bayer Leverkusen to win as well. They're going to be hitting the road. As much as I have the utmost respect for Apoel, I just think that Leverkusen they put 6 on Nice, and Nice is good in match day 1. Bayer Leverkusen did lose on the weekend 1-0. So they have a little bit of maybe they're a little salty. They lost after having kind of being in good form. I think they're gonna do it. So if you have all 3 of those teams to win, it's plus 373. I like that a lot. So that's my first ever parlay. I hope it hits so that you guys keep believing in my parlays. But I'm excited about those 3 in particular.
Yeah, I love those, especially Leicester and Milan, like just being at home, feeling confident. They're getting a nice rhythm going. Jamie Vardy makes a lot of and Zlatan make a lot of what make those respective clubs tick. But I think there's way more to them than just those 2. And to your point about Leverkusen, they're going to be mad. They want to get some redemption. So I love that parlay. Parlay partay, baby. Jimmy, anything else? Anything else from this round?
Well, there's Benfica versus Rangers, and this one was tough for me. I almost threw them in the parlay. And if you take out the Leverkusen one and throw in Benfica Rangers, I kind of like the draw on this one. Rangers have yet to give up a goal. They've won every single game they've been in this season. I feel like that's an important mentality to have, that you know how to win games and know how to close out games, which included a big 2-0 win in the Old Firm against Celtic at Celtic Park. So you can't take anything away from this Rangers team and what Steven Gerrard is doing as manager for that club. But Benfica at home, it's tough. They just got smacked by Boa Vista 3-0 on Monday. They only had a couple of days of rest. I kind of like Rangers here, but not enough to pick them to win. And I kind of like Benfica, can make a strong narrative for them and could see them winning, but maybe a draw is the best bet. So if you take out the Leverkusen thing on the parlay and bring in Rangers, it jumps up and puts them to draw. It puts up to plus 1,100. So something for you guys to consider. And then you have Arsenal versus Molde. As much as I want to see Henry Wingo, a U.S. international, play for Molde and do well against Arsenal. Yeah, Arsenal are really good when it comes to, they should smash these guys. They're playing at the Emirates. This was so one-sided, it was hard to find any value for you guys. Last week I did hit with Nicola Pepe scoring anytime, but even now I don't know. There's really no good value in that one, so I stayed away from that from a betting perspective. But for Arsenal fans, it should be good. They should do the business.
Jimmy Conrad with all the betting analysis, all the tips, and the parlay partay. I love it. Let's keep those rolling. Jimmy will be back with me once again as we hit those weekend recaps and so much more. Weekend previews, actually. Jimmy, thank you so much for joining us, brother. It's always good to see you.
Oh, it's always good to do this with you. And then a shout out to the audience. Thank you guys for all your support. It means a lot to us because we love talking the beautiful game, but it only matters if you guys are listening. So we appreciate it.
100%. 100%. Thank you so much, Jimmy. We will be back, guys, after these messages. Hey, everybody. Welcome back. Europa League preview. We have a lot coming up for this Thursday. And we welcome James Benge from the UK. He will be at the Emirates as Arsenal face Molde. James, how are you, bud?
I'm great. The game at the Emirates is going to be my first game of actual proper British lockdown. It's going to be really weird. Actually, I suppose it'll be the same, the actual game, but it's weird and exciting times in the UK, weird and terrifying times in the UK, which I'm sure we all know about.
Yes, I can more than relate. Well, as Arsenal, James, from that good win against Manchester United, they now continue their Europa League quest against Molde. And I'm imagining that Mikel Arteta will rotate his squad once again. Do you think?
Yeah, pretty heavily. You've got some really good, talented young players who came in and played fantastically against Dundalk. Joe Willock, Reece Nelson. I think I've mentioned this guy's name on the pod before, but Emile Smith-Rowe. I was told last week that he hadn't made the squad to play Dundalk, but I was told there's hope he might be able to feature in some capacity tomorrow night. Great sort of number 10, number 8. They call him the Croydon De Bruyne. Quite a big tag to live up to, but he's a player that Arsenal are really missing, and I'm looking forward to seeing how he gets on early on. And then, you've got David Luiz is available again, so numbers are swelling in central defence, and Arteta was saying, he actually thinks now he does have the squad to balance these games on multiple fronts, and his squad is almost too big, and there's players he's not able to pick.
Well, that's probably a good problem to have, I guess, as opposed to other teams. And let's talk about another young player you wanted to bring up, a 19-year-old William Saliba. Things not really going his way there. I feel like Arteta is getting frustrated too. What's the latest on him?
So there was reports out in France today that Saliba was getting fed up, which is quite understandable. He hasn't played at all this season since joining. He signed for Arsenal in the summer of 2019, a £25 million deal, and was loaned back to Saint Etienne for his development. That didn't quite work out to plan. He had injuries, there was COVID, and he only played, I think, about half of the league games he could have, around that level. He came to Arsenal, and from what I was told, it was pretty clear early on to his teammates that he wasn't at the level that was needed yet. And for that reason, Arsenal didn't name him in their Premier League squad. Actually, he didn't name him in the 25. He's on the B list, so he could theoretically play here. But crucially for Arsenal, he's not in the Europa League squad. Even though he's under 21, he hasn't been at the club for 2 years, so they can't just play him. They can't name him on the B list. And this competition, which felt like the natural one to blood him in, is one where he can't play at all. So, yeah, the reports in France saying Saliba was fed up. Well, Arteta came out in his press conference today and said, look, I'm fed up too. He really does want to give this guy chances, but it's tough. Arsenal had some hard games in the EFL Cup. You didn't really want to give him his debut at Anfield away to Liverpool. And it's Man City in the next round. Premier League, well, you can't gamble on a young defender at the moment. And then the Europa League, it would have meant taking out a senior player to name him. They looked to get him a loan in the final weeks of the championship window. From what I was told, it was really just a case that they were so specific in how they wanted to develop Saliba because they think he's a fantastic player. And they had this checklist of plays good foot. The team has to play good football, has to have stability and a good manager, has to ideally be located near London so that they can check in on Saliba, and particularly in the current climate, he doesn't feel too anxious and distant. And it has to be a team where he'll play regularly. That team doesn't exist. So it's really frustrating. I'm sure he will get his loan move in January, but considering he's developing well over the last few weeks, it's tough for Arsenal not getting to play him.
Yeah, it's a shame. But, flipping the script right now on a slightly older player, the renaissance of Mohamed Elneny, I've always been a fan. Let's talk about him for a second. I know that you wanted to bring him up.
Yeah, see, I mean, we were talking about this off air, throw in your view as well. I never was that much of a fan. I thought he was a bit limited. And then you were kind of saying, basically, that the limitations of what makes him so good. Yeah. It's just sort of, in a way, you're right, that those limitations have actually made him really helpful because he just sticks to doing what he does best, which is pressing, working hard off the ball. And I think in terms of setting a culture, actually, these players that are on the fringes of your squad can be vital. Elneny running in the 91st minute to press the Manchester United midfield when he should have, by all accounts, have been dead on his feet. I think that really typified the attitude that Arteta wants across his squad. And actually, as much as anything, I think that Arteta's really rewarding attitude. Elneny was brilliant against Man United, but he hadn't really been that good in any other games this season. There was one great pass in the win over Rapid Vienna. But what he had been is he'd been reliable, he'd been consistent, and he'd given maybe the better players, the more expansive players, a platform to do what they do best. Every team needs a Mohamed Elneny. I thought that guy was going to be Matteo Guendouzi, but the joy of having Elneny is he's just a really likable guy. Not saying anything on Guendouzi there, but Elneny is just a really easy teammate to get on with. You could see that after the game at Old Trafford. And suddenly Arsenal have a bit of depth at central midfield because we spoke to Joe Willock today. He's probably fifth in line. You've got Ainsley Maitland-Niles, you've got Xhaka and Ceballos who are on the bench. So that was supposed to be the problem position for Arsenal, even with Partey arriving. And it's looking a little bit better right now.
Yeah, listen, I've said this for years, okay? I grew up in the 90s and the early 2000s in the UK. I've seen Arsenal live a million times. And one of the reasons why back in the day, Arsenal, were more successful in title campaigns, etc., is because they had exactly what you just said. an attitude to their midfield. Patrick Vieira, Gilberto Silva, even Toure. Like these players were like they weren't worried about looking good. They just wanted to win. They wanted to compete. And that's what Elneny brings. And he reminds me a lot of Mahmoud Ahmed Ibrahim Hassan, otherwise known as Trezeguet, Villa's winger, who just works his socks off. And obviously Elneny's a different type of player, creative, but he works so hard and for so long. If you want to succeed in the Premier League, you don't just need talent, you need a strong spine. And Elneny can provide that. And I think that, to your point, it's his limitations that make him unlimited for Arsenal.
Yeah, he's fantastically ego-free. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Trezeguet kind of took the same route as Elneny and Salah? Al-Ali, was he at Basel for a time? I might be making that up in my head anyway. But there is something about that particular club that produces ego-free footballers. And I mean, you can even see it with Salah. As brilliant as he is, he's not a player that hogs the limelight, demands the ball. I mean, he was, playing a facilitating role for Jota last night. It is really invigorating for a team, I think, just to have someone who'll do your hard work for you. He makes players around him better because he just lets them get on with what they do and says, what do you need? I bet if you paired him next to Mesut Ozil, he'd do all his running and all his tackling, and Ozil would look better. Anyone in that team, I think, kind of looks better around Elneny because Elneny's so adaptable, does what his teammates need.
Yep, well said, my friend. James Benge will be at the Arsenal game, and he'll join us, obviously, later on Qué Golazo podcast as we continue to talk about the Premier League, Arsenal, Europa, Champions League, etc. Benge, always a pleasure to have you, and stay safe in this lockdown and make sure that you get to the Emirates and back home safely.
Cheers, Woody.
Joining us now on Qué Golazo and CBS Sports HQ is Tottenham's Moussa Sissoko, the versatile midfielder whose career includes Toulouse, Newcastle United, and of course, the French national team, and Tottenham, where he's, here now for a few years. He's represented France in every age group from the under-16s all the way to the senior team. Moussa and Tottenham look to bounce back in the Europa League with a game against the Ludogorets on Thursday before facing West Brom this weekend in the Premier League. Moussa, welcome to Qué Golazo and CBS Sports Digital. Ça va?
Thank you. Yeah, ça va. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
I'm good. So good to have you, Moussa. Let's begin with you for a second. How have you been this year? Because it's been such a roller coaster for you as a player and a person, recuperating from knee surgery, dealing with COVID-19, as we all have been, of course, just the issues of racial injustice all over the world, and then playing, internationally, domestically. It's been a lot. How have you been? How are you?
Yeah, to be honest, I'm fine. Okay, it's been a strange years for me because, like you said, so I had that injury in January on my knee, so I've been out of the squad for 3 to 4 months, and then I was nearly fit to come back, and then that virus with the COVID-19 came, so again we couldn't play for a while, and then after that you have the chance to play, and it was a strange situation to play in the empty stadium, and then the training wasn't normal like we used to do, and a lot of things was strange, but that is how we have to deal with it, because that virus affect a lot of people, and you have to take care of yourself and take care of yourself or your family and everyone in the world. So I try to do what I could do, like on my side, and try to be safe with everyone. And now we came back for the preseason and play again. So of course we're missing all the fun in the stadium, but again we need to follow the protocol, and for the safety of everyone, I think it's better to keep playing like on that way, even if we don't like that situation. But we just need to follow the rules, and hopefully soon everything will be will be back as normal.
Absolutely. Tottenham doing well domestically. You're looking to bounce back in the Europa. You haven't lost in the league since September 13th. You're third in the table, but now you're playing Ludogorets in Europa League. How do you see that game? How do you see the Europa League so far with Tottenham?
Yeah, Europa League is a big competition. We know, and when you played it, so you want to go as far as possible. So yeah, we've been playing few games at the moment, and you could see nothing was easy. Of course, we won the first game of the group stage, and we lost the second game away, and we were all disappointed. We play against a good team, and yeah, tomorrow is going to be a tough battle against a good opponent who finished champion last season. So we know it's not going to be an easy game, but we have all the quality to go there and win. So we have to believe on ourselves and play with a lot of confidence and try to make sure to come back with the 3 points tomorrow.
Moussa, one of the things that I always talk about on the show is I'm just so impressed and amazed, and sometimes we undervalue actually just how much players have to travel back and forth in between training and practice and of course actual matches between the Premier League, Europa. It's a lot. Like, how do you see it? Like, how difficult is it? Is it easier for some, especially in a year like this? How do you see all that traveling and going back and forth between the Premier League and other competitions?
Well, like you said, is a lot of traveling, and every time you have to switch between Europa League and league game and cup games. So it's a lot. So you go away, you stay at the hotel for a few days, you come back, and you stay one or 2 days at home with your family, and then go away again. So yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot, but at the same time, we decided to choose that career, and in football, this kind of thing will happen. So if you accept to do this job, and it's part of the job, so you need to deal with it. And of course, sometimes you're getting tired and everything, but we are trying to do the recovery after the game. We have a big staff with the physio. We try to recover very, very well as well. So everything is here to try to recover after the game and trying to be ready for the next game. And one thing is good also is we have a good and strong squad. So sometimes the manager can even rotate the team, and we know we're gonna need everyone to have a great season. So, and I think to have a good and strong squad is important. So we have that chance this year. So let's keep going on that way, and hopefully at the end of the season we'll have some great result and achieve some things.
Yeah, you mentioned the strong squad. I think that's a major part. Your squad is deeper. It's more talented. Just more players with depth is going to help under Jose Mourinho. Question for you, Moussa. Obviously, Jose Mourinho, a big character. Everybody knows. What's he like? What's he like in training when the cameras are not around? We all have our perceptions of Jose Mourinho. I'm a big fan. I just think the league is always better when you have a personality like him in it. What's it like to play under Jose Mourinho?
No, I think like everyone, if you don't know the manager, when you see him from outside, you can say he's a little bit hard to maybe to speak or to deal with him. But when you're with him, he's totally opposite. So he's a happy man, always smiling, try to give confidence to the player, and at the training, of course, he want the player to train well, to perform, and of course, sometimes you can be upset when you are not doing the thing right in the training or in the game. But that's normal because he's competitive and he want to win. So and then that's you can't blame him for that. But otherwise, most everyone like him here, and I think since he came, he's doing some great job. And yeah, so now let's keep going on that way. So we know in the past, so he he won a lot of title with nearly all the team he went. So hopefully we can achieve this with we can achieve this with this club. But we need to work all in the same direction and on the same way, and hopefully we will get some good result and some good things at the end.
Absolutely. One of my favorite moments, Moussa, and I have to talk about it, is in Amazon's All or Nothing, when you know, they're talking about the team, and I'm sure it's mainly editing. They're talking about the team and they're saying Moussa Sissoko, he's a big player, a big personality in the dressing room, a big leader, and then the camera cuts to Jose Mourinho with like a face like, I don't know about that. It was very weird and funny to me. Did you see that? Did you notice that? Did you notice when they were talking about you?
Yeah. So I saw it, and because a lot of people told me to watch it, so I saw it, and yeah, it was funny. But after he knows now, with the time, he know who I am, how I am in the team, and what I can bring to the team, and that's the most important thing. I think everyone in this squad is important. So even if you're young or you're a senior player, because we all want the same things, is to achieve something together. And yeah, so let's go on the same direction all together, because we're gonna need everyone to perform, and let's build on that.
Yeah, that's a really good point that you just brought up. The camera lies sometimes. It likes to, you know, tell you a narrative that maybe is not true. How was it with the cameras during a time when you're dealing with a knee recuperation, the MCL, and then training and everything? Was it a bit strange having all those cameras following you around?
Because yeah, at the beginning it was a little bit strange, because you can see the camera is following you everywhere. When you are going to the left, the camera is turning to the left, right, up and down. So it needs to be strange at the beginning, but with the time, so it become normal. And then of course, sometimes when you talk with some of your teammates and you want to say something in private, of course you need to be careful, because the camera, someone can record you, and then yeah, and maybe put this on the on Amazon, and it will not be good, because sometimes you want to keep some moment private, and that is normal. But yeah, so but at the end, everyone knew where was the camera, so we was acting like normal, because there is nothing to hide. We were living like we used to live normally, even before the camera came. But sometimes when you wanted to have some like private conversation, so of course you try to be careful on the camera, but otherwise everything was fine. And I think that even that Amazon things was good. I saw all the episode, and I think it was a good things, and everyone could see how we live in a training ground. Example, like some people of my family who wanted to know what we are doing every day, how we are training, how is the physio room, and everything. So, and with that Amazon things, they could see what I was doing every day, and they was happy and pleased to see our training ground.
Yeah, I think it was a really good example of seeing your personalities and your players. You are one of many talented, interesting personalities in the Tottenham dressing room. Who are you closest with in the club?
Yeah, most I'm closer with of course with Serge Aurier, because I was with him in Toulouse a few years ago, and then at the same time in Paris. We live what 5 minutes from each other. So I know him since a long time ago, and yeah, with Tanguy and Dombele as well, and Hugo, because we are in national team together. But otherwise, I have a good relationship with everyone. It's a good squad. Everyone is they are all nice. So I'm very happy and pleased to be part of this team.
All right, I'm going to ask you some very quick questions, very quick, okay? So about your squad, you're very close with Sergio Aurier, of course, and some others, but let's find out a little bit more about your teammates. Who's the funniest member of the team? Who's the jokester?
Yeah, it's Serge.
Serge?
Yeah, it's Serge. It's Serge.
Who's the most serious? Who's the one that just can't, like, doesn't want anything to do with jokes?
The most serious. Now, what can I say? Let's say I will say Joe Hart, the new signing. Of course, he laugh, he joke and everything, but he's very serious when he's working, and that's good. He's a good example, and I think everyone must follow it.
Moussa Sissoko from Tottenham Hotspur, who played Ludogorets on Thursday in Europa League and doing a good run in the Premier League. They have West Brom this weekend. Moussa, good luck for the future, my friend. It's a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you very much for me as well. Bye-bye. See you.
I want to thank Moussa Sissoko, Jimmy Conrad, James Benge for joining me. Make sure that you follow us on Qué Golazo Pod on Twitter and all your platforms where you listen to your podcast. We will see you next time. Have a great day.